Okay, there's a lot of con artists out there that pray and seek out people who will believe their bullshit. And usually they're targeting low esteem people. Because when you're desperate, you probably try anything, right? And there's, you know, it seems in today's society that people are scared of making mistakes, are scared of being real. They're scared of so much that they may as well just stand out in the street and go, "Hey, I'm a target to be conned because I'm scared to be real. Teach me how to be fake." So people end up producing fake personas to hide behind their lack of esteem. One day, Albert Einstein went up to a chalkboard and wrote down simple math times, 1 times 9 is 9, carried on with the nines. While teaching a class, he just went, 1 times 9 is 9, 2 times 9 is 18, 3 times 9 is 27. He kept going till he went up to 10 times 9, but he didn't write down then 90. He wrote down 91 to make a point. Of course, the class laughed at him. And after he waited till the laughter stopped, and then he said, "Oh, you all laughed at the mistake, but none of you congratulated me on all my 9 solutions that were correct." It was Einstein who said, if you've never made any mistake, the man who's never made any mistake has never tried anything new, or something. Paraphrasing. I'm going to look for that actual quote, because it's a very good point. Stop being afraid to make a mistake. Your perspective on mistakes in the past affects how you feel about yourself today. So are you regretting those mistakes in the past? Well, you're doing that now because all we got is now. You're not over there in the past, so you're regretting who you are right now. Because your past equals who you are now. All we have is now. You're thinking about things you're going to do tomorrow or in the future, but you're not there yet. You're doing that now. The power of now is a thing that's been written about by kind of people with spiritual takes on things, but some of it is pretty obvious and on point. Other bits of it I don't really think it's either here or there. Mistakes. I'm going to have a look at that quote. There we go. A person who has never made a mistake never tried anything new. Yeah, obviously it's much simpler than I thought it was. To quote him, that's his quote. There's a quote on what he actually said, and we need to really bring that in, because typically teenagers fall into, will I look right wearing a certain thing, behaving a certain way? What will people think, and so on. You trip over, you look around, did anyone see me screw up? Is it cool? Whatever. And then the next person is doing the same. They're not going to occupy their brain too long with, look at him or her, that was really, really weird, and they go and make a hours and hours long talk about that, unless it's really, really extreme. Right. They have better, to them, they have better things to worry about, and what they're worried about is how they look, how they fit in, and so on. Then the next person, and the next person, they're all too worried about their own little shitstorm in their brain, And particularly today, it's slammed into people to look a particular way, to look acceptable and so on. Look your best all the time and so on. And we're all victims of some of that affecting our esteem. Alright? Think about it. And try to avoid the con artists out there, the alpha male crowd, the manosphere of do this, do that to look your best. Fuck that. Be you, because who you are is something you can be in charge of. Pretending to be something else is something somebody else has said or tried to convince you that this is how you can be the stronger, like the alpha male, stronger person or whatever. Build on what you have succeeded with. If you're really good at something, move on to something similar that that's you know you're going to be good at because it's similar to start with. But take risk. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Take the risk. Take challenges. If you've never made any mistake, like Einstein said, you've never tried anything new. Try new things, but be your own boss. You draw a line in the sand for you. People have asked me, do I have a role model? No, not really. I think people like Johnny Depp have been presented to people as a good role model because how he handled the bullshit thrown at him. But you really, there's no way in how I would want to be him because he's had to put up with so much shit. But how he's handled it, great. But his whole life and how he looks at his own life equals who he is today. And he's very humble about being so lucky to have had the chance of acting career and so on. What I look up to is a better version of me. But I know my own limits within the moment. But if I've stepped up a bit, those limits have been a little bit further than they were after the step up. So my role model is the better me. Being a better me is those little tiny steps I make every day when I give them a chance. And you look for those chances. People give other people chances. They are there from people who care or people in the workplace and so on, work colleagues. It can happen if you get the right environment. And if it's not happening, you just need to surround yourself somewhere with people who do care. True friends will look out for you. They will. If you don't show up or something, well, where are you? Are you okay? Do you favours or take you from point A to point B if you, let's say your car broke down or something, to help you out. And if you're feeling like low esteem, like, I ain't got no friends or whatever, well, no big deal. Just get yourself out there in the world, socialise, get into a program or something. It's not always easy when you're beating yourself up. Oh, I won't fit in, I'm not competent, I'm not this. What you are capable of, and is within your power, is to be a bit better every day. And it doesn't matter if it's a tiny step forward, it's still forward. Then you do another tiny step forward. Before you know it, within a month you've done a big step, not tiny steps, but it equals a big step forward. Within a given amount of time. People can change really quickly if they just given, people amaze me in which I found myself the same way, in which I don't need that much of encouragement. I just need a little gentle bit of support. Have done in the past where my confidence has been low, just a little bit of encouragement, a bit of support here and there, and they will go miles. But if it's not there, the support isn't there, try to surround yourself with better people. Stop regretting. And pretending to be something you're not is going to destroy you from the inside out. This is what narcissistic personality disorder does to people. Is like they not only ruin themselves, they ruin people's ability to progress, because people end up being a target for their fake bullshit out there. Like Andrew Tate, he's as fake as they come. He really is. This be the alpha male while he's preying on naive women who are attention whores. They would go on cam and so on to exploit them and risk them into human trafficking while exploiting weak, low-esteemed men to make money out of them, while he runs around getting all the credit for all this bullshit going around. He's doing this thing that's all fake and superficial because he's not real. Oh, look how many cars you got. I don't give a shit how many cars you got, Andrew. If you're real with me, I'm real back. If you're boasting all the time that you're something, it's because somewhere, somehow inside, you know you're not. And he's targeting people who know they aren't, because he knows they seek to be better, and the fictional persona that he portrays is a way to try and convince these low-esteemed people that, well, this works. Look how much money I got. He's calling people. Why do you think he's being done for human trafficking? Duh, and he's blurted out complete admittance of criminal activity now as well. And his own brother said word for word, you don't get successful by pretending, you get successful by doing the things you're pretending to be. That's awful. Do you want to feel like a pretentious prick that you're just putting on an act? You're not real, then when things kind of work out in line with the fiction, do you really feel like you've been truthful to yourself and you've grown for you? Or do you feel like, oh, there's another person I've manipulated? Are you proud of that? Manipulated for a means to your own selfish ends because you're not man enough to go up to a woman and say, hey, I like you, do you fancy going out on a date? But no, you got to, as Andrew said, you got to message in on Instagram, do you want to do cam? Remove the actual in-person social discourse and be fake through the internet. Oh, how great. Yeah, because women are very good at keying in on people's persona and demeanor in person. But, it's easy to pretend to be somebody you're not through the internet, right? Again, person who's never made any mistakes, has never tried anything new, and that wasn't a mistake with Einstein writing 91 on the board. It was a test to see other people's reaction. It does not matter how successful you are, you make one mistake and people are all over it. Not everyone, but a lot of people pointing it out. But there are also those people in society quiet in the background thinking, well, that person's done a lot of things that are correct, and what about this one mistake? I mean, the plethora of things they've done really good. Don't pick on him, he just made this one mistake. Subjectively, depending on how bad the one mistake is, right? You can't know everything, you can't be perfect, it doesn't happen to anyone. It doesn't happen to me, it doesn't happen to you. Life is organic. Natural selection favoured adaptation because every biological being isn't perfectly suited to every single situation. So evolution is a thing. You're gonna devolve the human race if we're gonna keep breeding into a pussified bunch of lazy fucks who don't want to try anything new because they're scared of making a mistake. Want to be a true alpha male? Fuck your fear of making a mistake and just be you. Look up to a better you as a role model. You know your own limits, you should. Unless you're deluded like Andrew Tate is. Because this guy is going to implode. But when he implodes, he's imploding actually. Via his own actions, his own fault. Not anything to do with him, house arrest or whatever. He's going to destroy other people along with him. It's going to affect other people. This is what narcissistic personality disorder does. It entraps other people as a means to his own ends. If they don't follow suit, you tell a narcissist to do something for cooperation, for a better solution, they go and do the exact opposite. Oh, you're no good telling me what to do. I'll do the exact opposite, regardless of consequence. Do you want that? Do you want to be that? Is that what you're looking up to? Or do you look up to, or today I improved at a level that suited me? How I have overcome some of my anxiety issues for myself because of going through some things. Let's say, or let's not go into detail on them, but crowded places were a bit of a bother for me. So I slowly chipped away at desensitizing myself to how I would react. I went to a crowded place, somewhat crowded, and one place I picked was a public bar some years ago, and it would get noisy or whatever, crowded. This was not the nightlife side, it was the daytime, and particular events. I'd come in, a couple of staff knew if I'll be back in a minute. It's getting a bit, yeah, it's alright, no problem, see you later. So go away from the crowded place, relax, chill, and then come back and push myself a tiny little bit more. Then I got used to that outside of my threshold. Suddenly I'm a better person than I was. Once I got used to, more often, it's just how much can I cope with it? Just to the threshold of, can't breathe, I need to go. And once you step in the way, you're thinking, wasn't really that bad as I thought. When you come back, you get that mindset, I'm fine, I've just been saying it. So it kept chipping away, a tiny bit, a tiny bit, a tiny bit, a tiny bit. The more often you get those tiny bits, the more often it ends up being a big step forward. You just keep on keeping on, but don't go and think, I need to do all this big step in one go, because you're never going to cope. You just find your threshold and you do baby steps. Very quickly, you end up being better than you was as a person. Your regretting of your mistakes in the past equals how you view yourself now, because all we have is right now, not the past. We don't have the past. What you're thinking about, all that past that's gone, and how that affects you, how you allow it to emotionally affect you, you're doing that now. Right now. How you think about the future, worried about it, you're doing it now. Yeah? Because all you got is now. Make now the best now you could possibly make it. And again, it's not always that easy, because there may be some things you're approaching that you really don't want to, but psychologists will tell you like 80% of fear, even higher, some people will say, is unfounded, not true. What are you afraid of? Being a better person than you were yesterday? Andrew Tate convinces himself tries very hard at convincing himself that he doesn't need to improve. He's perfect. He's a genius. So many times, if you hear people going on and on about they're a genius, they're super intelligent and all that. If they were, why would they need to boast about that? I'm sure Albert Einstein wasn't running around in the day going, I'm a genius, I'm amazing, I'm this and that. What he did, though, was ignore the egotism and ignore any boasting advertising. He just buckled down and he made those points, like what he put on the board. So stop being a fake asshole because you're too scared to be real. Who's really an alpha male? The guy's real or the guy's fake, like Andrew Tate? Andrew Tate is fake. I hope I'm getting through. Yeah, I've done a few videos on Andrew Tate. I hope I'm getting through as to why assholes like him are not worthy of being followed. Have a role model that is you, the better you than you were yesterday. It's very difficult to understand with enough, because so much bullshit flying around. How can you be better, or what is the better you? But you know what you're already good at. Harness that and improve upon that. Challenge yourself with things that are very similar to what you've already overcome. That way you have a starting point rather than a big thing in front of you don't know what to do with it. But at least challenge yourself and don't be afraid to make a mistake. Alright? Because you're going to be a mistake. If you're that afraid to make any mistake, you never amount to anything. You never improve yourself. You're never going to progress ever again in your life. Never. If you allow that fear to control you while you feel comfortable like you're hiding in a room with this fake persona. That's what Andrew Tate's doing to himself. Do you want to do that? Do you want to kill the real you in favour of fake pretentiousness just so that you can get monetization, exploitation of pimping hose degree, a PhD that Andrew Tate boasts about? Again, one more time, fuck you, Andrew Tate.